The stage is set. We have Haven, Bind, and Ascent. This could be the last 3 maps for one of these teams in this tournament.
Oh, Kohivi, she's gonna get all 4. Beautiful control on her spray. There's the pull, stun through, they'll head into this site, and 2 are stuck. Shirazi jumping down into hell. She's got it down to 1, but Isa gives it away. Is there time to get this one done? Can Shirazi find the shot? Only a sheriff in her hand, but it's Isa instead. Stalls time for a moment. It'll work in her favor, but she needs to rely on spam. She needs to rely on lock-in. Well, she found one. Can she get Isa off? Can she stop this? Just at the last moment, Shirazi closes the map. Team SMG force Liquid on the back foot. Daiki does have something to get back into this round for TL, but look how fast she's flanking.
And there he is still going in. Team Liquid being fully encircled, but Daiki is fighting her way out. A 3K for her now too.
Daiki holds the line. She's got another shot. Here, Kamiyu close. The rocket connects. Bastarda's still alive and ready for another fight. It's an Airy. Desperately trying to get something done with a rocket of her own, but Bastarda has got the angle. And here comes Georgina. She's ready for hers as well at aim. It sure is crisp. Team Liquid, they have controlled this map from the beginning to the end. They close out 13-7. They push us to Ascent. Drawn forward. Team Liquid have great information, and the spam is there as well. Prime getting flawless Team Liquid. Did she get another? She doesn't need it! Alexi has got 3. Bazera's on the ground. Isa's finding hers. How has she done that? How does she keep Team Liquid in this round? Can she do more? No doubt! Bazera has a flash. How much can she get done? The Spectre runs and guns and pulls them over.
Team Liquid will defeat SMG and advance to the top 3 once again.
Their hero run continues. The gauntlet calls them deeper into this tournament.
Welcome back to Day 5 of Game Changers Championship 2023 and our lower bracket final between G2 and Team Liquid. I'm Mika Fabs, back on the desk alongside Sapphire and Baby Bay. And clearly I did not get the memo that everybody was in black today. I came in as a rainbow, but that's fine. I mean, like...
No, you look great.
I'm kind of jealous, I'm not going to lie. I wish I was wearing a little bit more color now, you know?
It's the lower final. We gotta pop, we gotta
Spice it up
sparkle
a little
just
bit, right?
a little bit, right? Especially after that previous match, which was what a match we had between Team Liquid and SMG. Looking at how the bracket stands right now, it was a very emotional loss for Team SMG. As I saw earlier, I think I mentioned to you earlier, you know, we saw that some of the girls were very emotional, and I actually saw G2 just run in and give them a big hug. It was so beautiful.
Oh, that's very wholesome. No, I mean, it's hard because obviously SMG, it was right in their grasp too. They were making that comeback. There were a few rounds there that, they just had the wrong timing and it could have gone their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't help to think that maybe if they didn't get ecoed as much in this last map especially, because they won both pistols, that maybe they win that map. With the scoreline being so close, like those rounds are just so important. And, you know, if I'm G2 and I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, like that wasn't that clean from Liquid.
Yeah, well, top 4 still isn't bad for Team SMG, so props to them for that. And for Team Liquid, the day is not over yet. But before we get into the match, we are going to play a little game to test how well we know our defending champions.
Oh, no.
It is time to play G2 Truths and a Lie.
Oh, no.
I love that pun, by the way. When we decided on that, everybody was like, yes, that is it. That is what we're going to call it. The game is very, very simple. I will read 3 statements about G2. 2 are true and 1 is a lie. And we have to figure out which one it is. So let's just dive into it. Our first question. Statement number 1, Mimi is from Denmark. Number 2, Sarah is from Turkey. And number 3, Roxy is from Germany. Which one is the lie?
I mean, I know the answer, but I'm not going to give him a free one, so he has to answer first.
I mean, the first one is definitely correct. Like, Mimi is from Denmark, because we heard that in the interview with the double Mimi combo.
Ah, paying attention.
I was paying attention, yeah. I do that sometimes. And dude, this next one, I actually have absolutely no idea. I'm gonna say, is Sarah from Turkey? I don't think she's from Turkey.
I'm not gonna tell you.
That's my answer. I think that's the lie.
Number 2, you know what?
Shoot.
I will support you on that. I will also say 2.
It's absolutely number 2.
Yes!
Yay!
Yes! Let's go.
Sarah is from the UK, so that was a lie. Good job. Good job. I thought we were having a divide here. With like, I'm not giving you anything, but there's still a little bit of teamwork. I think we're ready for our next batch of statements here. Possible lies. Okay, number 1, G2 is undefeated versus Pacific GC teams. Number 2, G2 is undefeated versus Spanish GC teams. And number 3, G2 is undefeated versus Saudi VALORANT teams. What you thinking?
Interesting.
Yeah, this is like a tricky one, huh? I feel like they
It's
haven't
very
lost
specific.
to a Pacific GC team at all.
Yeah, they haven't.
Right?
No, because last year it was either X10 Sapphire or Fennel, and they didn't lose to them. They stayed in the upper bracket. Spanish teams.
I like how that's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the third option. I think that's the
the
lie.
third option. Saudi
No.
VALORANT teams.
No. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. The second option. I'm gonna go with the second option.
I think the second
Yeah,
option.
my bad,
I think
my bad.
they've done some events with a Saudi VALORANT team online before. So I'm gonna go against the Spanish GC team as a lie.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's kind of a kicker
Yeah.
too, because it's like they didn't say EMEA team,
Yeah.
They didn't say,
Yeah.
it's like it's very
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
Spanish GC teams. I'm actually going to go with 3 just to add a little bit of spice in there.
Okay,
I thought I was
okay.
like, okay, that's kind of like out of nowhere, but it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Case
they
Hydra.
lost to Kasehidra in 2023 in GC EMEA Stage 3. It's statement number 2.
That's
That
a
is
sick
correct.
team name. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
that
a
is-
Case
that is-
Hydra.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is all fancy. Yeah.
You could do like the Hail Hydra kind of thing from Marvel with that, right? And next batch of statements over here, we have, I believe this is going to be our last batch. So we have statement number 1, Split is G2's most played map this year. Number 2, Lotus is G2's most played map this year. And number 3, Ascent is their most played map this year. Which one is it?
This is tough. This is tough, and I actually look at everyone's records and stuff on maps that they play, and I still can't remember it because it's just.
It's
on
a
the
lot
spot.
of information.
That's just on the spot right now. I'm gonna. What's the lie? I think the lie is gonna be Ascent.
Wait.
I'm going with Ascent.
Ascent?
No, this is backwards because you can't say 2 maps are true then, because then the 2 maps are most played unless it's a tie. Unless it's a tie and they both played.
It may be,
could be.
a tie.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Lotus as the lie. I don't remember when the map came out.
I'm gonna go with
but-
Ascent as the lie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Lotus as well. That is my guess. This is so tricky though, because of course,
What?
Split.
It was
is
tied.
new.
Wow.
It was.
okay,
It was tied.
Wow, they tried
Split
to trick
is
me.
not G2's most played map this year.
What
That is.
analysts are we? Evan?
That was a little bit
I think
tricky.
they brought.
How do we not know this?
The wording.
They haven't played it as much lately.
Yeah, the wording was also very tricky, and the way they phrase certain things that kind of like made you double saying like, what did you say? Okay, all right. But we will be getting into our lower finals soon. Enough of these games over here. And we are going to dive into the map pools. Will we see any surprises today? Because Heather, we did see some yesterday. We finally saw Breeze coming out.
Yeah, we finally saw Breeze. It was a very exciting series too. We've been waiting for that. I know some of that in our bingo cards, but yeah, it's going to be interesting what they're going to go with here. Obviously, these teams have faced off against each other twice now, so this is now the 3rd time that they're meeting up, and of course, G2 won both of those, but it was a close series, especially on Sunset, and this is a map where neither region was playing that in the regular season, essentially, so we weren't sure who was going to pick it out, and it was close and exciting, but obviously G2 took it, and then they walked away with Lotus as well.
Yeah, and I think especially after yesterday, I think Team Liquid staying on this ban of Breeze because Petra was looking unreal on that map with the op. I think even in that series, even though they lost against Shopify, she had like 16 op kills. And that is like absurd. I think that might be like one of the highest amount of op kills in an actual BO3 that I've ever seen. And it's just insane.
Yeah, I definitely think the Breeze permaban is coming back. Team Liquid has also been consistently banning that map, so it would make sense. And after you mentioned, after Petra's showing yesterday, I mean, it's pretty obvious what you have to do, right? We have to talk about her, by the way, because she has been diffing everybody here, and she will be up against Bastarda. And, I was talking with Karkas just earlier today. This duelist Petra is basically 5 weeks old. This is what's amazing right here, Sapphire. I mean, look at that.
10 games as duelists, and she's tipping people that probably have 400 almost. So that's wild, especially... I don't know. She's obviously a legend in this game, but she just recently switched to this role. So to do that and going head-to-head against Bastarda, one of the most known duelists in GC scene, I'm very excited for that matchup.
Yeah, and I think what makes her so great is that she was an IGL at one point. So now that Mimi is taking the full reins of IGL, because I feel like it's really hard for duelists to main IGL, I think she's able to do these mid rounds when she gets these picks or these entries, especially on the attacking side, and like call her team back if she's taking a pick by herself, especially with the op. And that's what we saw on Breeze attack, and that's really successful. And like, look at this, she's almost double the age.
This is the most amazing thing about this role swap, right? Is that she's the oldest player here, and she has the least experience as a duelist. My fellow esports boomers, do not try this at home, okay? Without proper warm up and all of the medications needed. I know that. But also, this actually, like I was talking to Karkas earlier, and Petra, she has the pedigree for this role because she is familiar with entry fragging, and in her past, in her background, Sapphire.
Yeah, she is. She's always been kind of that lead of that team. She has no fear, obviously. She's taking that entry role no matter what position she's playing. But it's just so interesting to see because, we were talking, I know some of the talent yesterday about like, all the duelists in all of VCT and their ages, and like there's hardly any. I'd love to know like how many there are that are 30 that are duelists. I think that's pretty rare. So for her to do that on the global stage, super impressive.
Yeah, and it's really inspiring to me too, because I look at her and I'm like, okay, I can
You
still
gotta
do
be
this.
more years
I can still do this,
There
you
you
know what I mean?
When I grow up.
When I grow up, exactly. And she has 2 international titles, and that's just huge.
Inspirational. Before Game Changers, though, Ender sat down with Petra to learn more about G2's camaraderie and how it feels to return to the international stage.
I always saw you and Mimi and the rest of the team having so much fun on stage as well, which is that extra thing you get when it's a LAN event and there's a crowd and everything. The you're great. How much does that like bleed in and elevate compared to when you're just in the gaming house boot camping, for example?
I mean, we actually do it everywhere. Like we're having fun together, we sing together, so it's kind of natural. And it's not an act on stage. Like even off cameras, we're also a bit goofy and we're having fun with each other.
You say sing together. What's the go-to karaoke song?
Well, Backstreet Boys, My Fire, or Pokemon, or like it could be anything. Gummy Bear, Snappy.
Okay, you're kind of all over the place. I like that.
Yeah, we like karaoke.
All right. So now getting to come to Brazil and experience that, there's a lot of old faces maybe returning, some new faces as well. Are there players that you've met already or players that you'd like to meet and are excited for?
Yeah, there have been players we've met already, like Liquid and some of the like Melon stuff. And there are also new faces. And it's fun to meet new people. Sometimes everyone can be a little bit shy, and so am I. But eventually when we get comfortable, it's nice to have a conversation with each other.
Yeah. Now this isn't your first time to Brazil, right? You were here last year for
Red Bull Campus Clutch.
Yeah. So was there anything you enjoyed previously or anything you're looking forward to do with the small free time you might have?
Yeah. Well, in not the free time, it was very fun to meet all the supporters, and everyone was super nice. And off time, we went to Rio and we went to the Redeemer and had some nice views and food. And I really liked it.
All right, I'm very excited for you, and I wish you the best of luck in this tournament to bring that trophy home for a second time around. Thanks so much, Petra. And that wraps it up here.
It's over. I have to go karaoke with G2 now. They're Backstreet Boys fans. We gotta go karaoke. We gotta do this now. But of course, it's so nice to see, you know, the other side of these players. I mean, like, it's so cool to see like Petra playing all these other games and stuff, and how she was able to discover, like, you know, the beauties of Brazil and everything.
Yeah, she really is, and that's a big part of it too. It's not just like the competition. It's meeting all these other teams and seeing other places in the world. It's such a cool moment, and that's why I'm glad we have these opportunities for these teams.
Would you go karaoke?
I would absolutely go karaoke,
yeah.
but I don't know what I would sing.
Backstreet Boys?
I cannot
or
sing very well.
But that's the point. Karaoke is not about singing well.
Well, yeah, you might be right. But there's one thing that I did do that she did, and that's See the Redeemer. And that is just like, that was so crazy to me. Like looking up at this big statue, and I'm like, wow, this puts things into perspective a little bit of how like small we actually are. You know?
For sure.
Yeah, it's super cool. Brazil's an awesome place.
Definitely. And Petra is also awesome as well.
Yeah.
Sprint for even more on Petra. Let's send it outside to Doug.
Hey, Petra, quick question for you before you go inside. Your duelist play has been outrageous. People are talking about how you're the best duelist in the tournament. What has been the key to your success in this new role?
Well, I obviously have a lot of experience, right? It comes with the years, and in CSGO I was also playing entry fragger and upper, so I'm quite confident in being aggressive. And yeah, I think having great teammates helps me to put in great positions, right? So it makes me more confident.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. Best of luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
You can kind of tell she's enjoying it. You know, it's like, you know, when Carcass probably, you know, put her up to the challenge, she was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Because G2 is still definitely one of the strongest teams out there, without a doubt, right? And all of these girls are superstars. I mean, you have Petra there, you also have Mimi, who is a superstar in her own right? But at the start of this tournament, Mimi was on fire, and she was top fragging in G2's opening match against Team Liquid. But she was shut down by Shopify Rebellion, you know, not too long ago. I mean, we had a lot of questions about that performance, Sapphire.
Yeah, it was not what we'd expect normally out of her. Obviously, against a lot of the other teams, she performed incredibly well. There were so many like clip-worthy moments from her, but against Shopify, she really did struggle, and you could see that in her face too. That's not normal. Like, kind of the energy was down, and she's aware of it. She knows she can play better, as she said in this tweet here. Like, she knows she can be a better player, and she's going to need that today against a Team Liquid that's kind of on a long win streak right now.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have an off day and like nothing's working for you, you know what I mean? Even though they won the first map, I feel like that first map was on the back of Petra. And going into the next two maps, it just seemed like it wasn't just her that was underperforming, it was multiple players on the team that were just getting outshot and everything like that. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta, you have these bad moments and you just gotta move on. And luckily, this happened in an upper bracket, so they have another chance here to get revenge. It's been the theme of this entire tournament. Now they can get revenge on Shopify if they beat Team Liquid here.
Everybody's out for revenge.
Everyone
and actually,
is.
it's a great storyline for each of these teams, right? And speaking of revenge, G2 and Team Liquid, they do have a bit of history. So yes, they faced off earlier in the week, but they also met in the upper final last year.
They did, and it was G2 that sent Team Liquid down to that lower bracket. And while G2 came out ahead, it was close. Team Liquid made that really interesting. And then, of course, as we looked at the series that happened just a few days ago, on that first map, it was looking like TL's run for a moment there. They were up going into second half, but then G2 went on a big winning streak, and unfortunately, it was G2 that won in overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just wondering, in this matchup specifically, because we've seen a masterclass of IGLing from Daiki lately, is G2 gonna bite on the feints that Daiki throws? Are they gonna get manipulated with these rotations? But like, when I think about the team, I don't, like, with the experience that they have, I don't see that happening. And I'm actually kind of scared for Liquid here, especially after playing 3 straight maps. I know they have home crowd advantage, but I think that G2 is just too seasoned of a team to be able to fall into these feints that Daiki has been throwing and this, like, these outplays that she's been trying to do.
Plus, they were watching very, very closely,
Yeah, exactly.
right? They're like, okay, Daiki, I see you. And they're coming in so refreshed, right? So talking about what we saw from Team Liquid today, you mentioned how Daiki was, like, you know, doing the feints and everything in their 2-1 win over Team SMG. And we saw that it was indeed a masterclass, like you mentioned, Baby Bay, of IGLing, right? We saw so many good calls here from Daiki, especially on bind.
Yeah, and it's right now, right here, in which Daiki could cement herself as one of the best IGLs in Game Changers, because to call 2 back-to-back BO3s and to make adaptations on the fly in real time, quite literally, because you know that G2 has been watching your entire game. They're sitting here watching you while they're warming up. You know they're studying every play you had. So if you're able to make these adaptations on the fly, that is what separates the best from the best of the best.
Yeah, and you know, we know that TL's like classic strat is doing that, like find that opening pick and just sit and wait. And against SMG there, where it started to potentially slip away on Ascent, is they were losing that opening pick. They were not getting it, and they had to have individual heroics to fight back. But obviously going against G2, those individual heroics get even harder against some of the best mechanical players in the world. So obviously they're going to need to lean into what they do so well, is hunt down that opening pick with players like Bastarda and wait and let G2 sweat it out and make the final move.
I actually saw a bit of like a chameleon-like effect on Liquid. They were kind of playing like SMG. After, like, you know, a few rounds, suddenly it was like, wait a minute, are you out SMGing SMG? Are you out smeaging SMG, you know? So it was fascinating to watch, especially since, you know, we keep bringing up Daiki just because she's such an amazing IGL. The crowd, by the way, keeps chanting her name, which is just like, you know, the energy is amazing, especially since they're fighting on their home ground, right? And you just have to wonder, like, how much more strategies does Daiki have in this playbook, right? We saw a lot coming out versus Team SMG, and they're the kind of team that will exhaust that. So you gotta wonder, what else do they have prepared for G2?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna want a deep strat pool here. Obviously, the calling on the fly, the mid-rounding is your biggest thing that you can rely on here. And of course, eventually when we get to the map pool, it's going to be very interesting. Are there going to be some repeat maps? Are they going to play maps that they just played against against SMG, where G2 just got to sit there and just take notes the entire time?
A win here would also be a huge milestone for Team Liquid, right? Because it will be their 3rd place. It will top their 3rd place finish, rather, at last year's championship. So this is them, you know, once going closer and closer to that goal, to having their revenge, as all of these teams are, Baby Bay.
Yeah, and you always want to play better than the previous year. Always, right? Because you want to see the performance show in your results. And I think if they win this, they're going to be even more motivated in that final against Shopify. And we might see a completely different team, because when you have the momentum on your side, especially with this team specifically, like when they start getting rounds and stringing rounds together, they kind of just snowball and just take it away. I think that they could actually make a really deep run here. But like I said, they have to start off strong. They have to get the momentum on their side and kind of make it almost impossible for G2 to fight back.
Well, we kept talking about her. Earlier this week, Ender sat down with Team Liquid's IGL Daiki to talk about her peers and a very special moment from last year's tournament.
I saw that you were often speaking with players from other teams. So is there anyone you're excited to see come back now to Brazil this time?
I love Mel, and I talk a lot with Mel last year, and even before the Game Changers Championship. And the 2 girls, it's very special to me. They are very kind, and I love to see them come back here, and now in my home ground. It's very, very special.
I saw when you went to when you went to Berlin, you got to see snow with the team. I was showing you the clip from earlier. How fun was that for you, I guess, to go to a new city and experience that?
A gente tinha acabado de perder e tava sendo um momento bem difícil pra gente. Eu particularmente tava abalada e quando a gente viu a neve, eu acho que a gente conseguiu esquecer um pouco desse sentimento ruim que a gente estava sentindo e a gente conseguiu aproveitar e eu acho que é por causa disso que a neve em si traz uma memória, uma tranquilidade, uma paz para dentro de mim.
So overall, we were in a position that we just had lost, and like perhaps that's one of the reasons that snow for me like got to have this like special meaning that brings me like a tranquility, because after all, we had a chance to like just forget about that moment and just enjoy as a group like that moment that we were all sharing of like seeing the snow like together, and we just like got to be like in a very like joyful moment.
Amazing. Well, best of luck to you in the tournament, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
What you gotta love about her as well is she is such an emotional leader. She is the kind, like, she kind of has this, like, you know, that inspire kind of effect, like that bardic kind of effect where suddenly if she gives that call, everybody instantly gets this, you know, magical buff and everybody just gets inspired. And that's what I love about her as well. But before we move forward, I want to get some last minute predictions from the desk to see who's moving on to face Shopify tomorrow, myself included. Oh no, I think you can see it. Did you peek? Did you peek? I think you can see it. It was at an angle. Are we gonna show this like on 3? Just
let's do it.
Like okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Bam! Yeah, I'm going with the G2 2-0.
2-0.
G2. 2-0.
Oh.
It's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
It could be a hot take.
It is a hot take because I'm kind of wondering what the reaction of the crowd is outside right now. Do we have to hide ourselves?
I think I have to hide.
Yeah.
I gave Team Liquid and Brazil a little heart here. So
I see what you did there.
We gave a 1 too. We gave a 1.
Well, yeah, and again, Team Liquid has not ever beat G2, even on a map. So I'm giving them that. They've got some momentum here.
I also feel like there will be overtime. There may be multiple overtimes as well for this, especially since lower final, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot at stake. But look at that baby. That's a 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going
with a squiggle.
Yeah. It's a confident 2-0. I just think that the op from Petra against this team of Team Liquid will absolutely dismantle them. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but I don't see how Team Liquid will do being down numbers and not being up numbers, because like you were saying, Heather, they tend to do really well when they get the first blood and they're able to slow the round down. But Petra with this op actually will just, I think it'll just dismantle the entire strategy that they have.
I also think that squiggle is a very
like that?
confident squiggle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I do agree though. This role swapping that G2 has been doing has been working wonders for them and has been confusing a lot of their opponents too. Suddenly it's a new G2 and a lot of the teams aren't exactly prepared, but let's see, our coaches are ready for map selection, so let's listen in and find out what's ahead.
Okay, so this is map select for G2 against CL. We are at lower bracket finals. G2 is a higher seed, so start choosing if wants to be Team A or Team B.
Team B.
Team B, okay, so G2 is Team B. Liquid is Team A. Liquid starts banning a map.
Ban Breezy.
Ban Breeze.
Yeah.
G2 ban.
Ban Bind.
Ban Bind. Map pick for Team Liquid.
Pick Ascent.
Ascent. Side on Ascent for G2.
Defense.
Defense. Map pick for G2.
Oh, it's us. Pick Lotus.
Lotus. Side on Lotus for Team Liquid. Attack. Ben for Team Liquid. You got Haven, Sunset, or Split.
Ban Sunset.
Sunset. A ban for G2. You got Haven or Split.
Ban Haven.
Ban Haven. Okay, so Split is the sider. Team Liquid side on Split.
Attack.
Attack. Okay. Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck.
The hopes of the Brazilian region are on the line, and the defending champions are on a mission to reclaim their crown. It can't get any better than this, and you got the two IGLs flexing on their walkout as well. Gotta love that girl power coming out. And Sapphire, we were talking about the map bans earlier. We saw the the ban on Breeze and on Bind, which I think was very smart for G2.
It was very smart. I'm feeling pretty good about my 2-1 prediction here. Yeah, obviously it makes sense for TL to grab Ascent. Like, that's where Daiki has an IGL playground there. They've done so well on it. Obviously, we just saw them win a huge performance against SMG, whereas on the other side, G2 got smacked around against Shopify on Ascent.
Yeah, and Daiki's no stranger to starting on attack on the side of the map, and she's very confident in the way she calls. But this is where the question raises, right? It's like, does she have a big enough strat pool to pull this map off? Because we just watched G2 just sitting there warming up, watching this entire map, and
That's right.
we saw the entire attack of Team Liquid. Now that being said, Team Liquid has been dominating this map. They've beaten multiple teams on it. But I think the split is going to be an interesting one. If it gets there, I think it's going to be a really interesting map pick. The Lotus, we saw G2 absolutely smash Team Liquid, so no surprise there. For the first time they played against each other in the upper quarterfinals.
Well, it will get to split according to me and Sapphire. According to me and Sapphire, it will get there, but it should be a good match regardless. You can see Petra flexing as well. She is so ready, and then you know these girls definitely have that. I'm sure the crowd out there is electric as well, and we do bring up a good point about Team Liquid having come from the previous series. There is a question of, are they coming in hot or are they possibly tired out?
Yeah, you could argue it either way, in the sense, obviously they're warmed up on stage, they know they've got their setup right, they've been perfected over 3 maps, but those were a long 3 maps too, whereas G2 got to chill in the lounge, they watched this match, but at the same time, like, it depends on the player. We saw some of those players, they got their headphones on, they're in the zone.
And now going into our Prime Gaming Agent Select, we can see here, not surprised at all with this composition.
I didn't see this one coming.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. I saw it coming.
Oh my gosh! Sure. It's a Killjoy, it's a Sova, a KO, and a Jet, and a mirror matchup on Ascent. Shocking.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what you guys were talking about with the playing 3 maps already for Team Liquid, I think that their biggest factor into the series is going to be that crowd's energy. They're going to need to feed off of that energy. So, Brazilian crowd, like, they need you. If there's ever a moment to support your team, it's right now, because after being in a series like that, they're going to need the help.
Well, our teams are set, and it's time to get this lower final started. Let's send it over to your casters. Here's Doug and Athena.
Thank you so much, Mika. Athena, given some of the story that we've had so far, for it to all culminate in this instance, the way that these two teams have gotten here, even just today, feels so drastically different.
It's so crazy, because we're seeing somewhat of a rematch from last year and somewhat of a redemption game for TL and G2. Both these teams going through roster changes, going through so much, always being played as kind of the upper hand in all of their matches, not even ending in, for G2, not even the first seed of EMEA. Now they're here showing that they're trying to make it to the finals. Both these teams have so much on the line, and they're proving it time and time again.
Even just considering the fact that Liquid have gone through a gauntlet just earlier today. Really no moment of respite to recover, to think things through, to make any adjustments. It's just kind of right back into the action. You see Liquid on the attacking side, and it is going to be Daiki testing the waters mid. Unaware of the fact that there's a whole lot waiting on the other side. Daiki testing things out, and she's been spotted. She's been dropped. A great opener out from Sarah. They're going to take all this space mid, and they're going to be able to apply a lot of pressure on A.
Yep, the post plant is going to be so important here because they have to push up and get that space, and we see 2 players on that heaven already waiting for that smoke.
Issa's timing here is going to be huge. She's pushed all the way into spawn, and I don't know that Glance or the rest of them know that she's there. Roxy and Glance get 2. There's the swing out. Bastarda responds with 2 of her own. Just a couple of members now left for Liquid as they're trying to hold them back. Mimi and Sarah remain in this brutal 2v2, and it just goes Liquid's way.
A beautiful 3K from Zeta. Oh my goodness. Again, that post plant was looking a little bit scary after losing Daiki in that beginning of the early round, but it was okay because they regrouped and they went together as a team. Daiki doing really good IGLing from the desk, but again, this post plant pushing up really great. It looked really scary for a second because of that flank, but it didn't matter. Zero with the 3K to just clutch it out. And again, you were talking about how this team just went through a whole war zone to get to here. Well, TL is warm. I would love to play this BO3 after just playing another BO3, especially coming off of a win. You have that momentum going into this game.
I think the question becomes, how long will that momentum last, right? How long will it carry? Because again, they've just went through a full BO3. It was a very stressful one with elimination on the line. So it weighs on you, right? It weighs on your mental, it weighs on your endurance, and I think that ultimately becomes the name of the game here, as Mimi is going to fall. How far can they drag this momentum out?
For sure, a free site for TL. They're gonna be flipping that site because they know they've seen all three of the players behind them in B main. Really, really well played. But again, these players are just gonna try to get as many guns down as they can from G2. This is a winnable post-map with the amount of util they have, but as I say that, TL players dropping like flies. Sarah's manages to get one of her own, but Issa just showing that the 3K is there to stay. Another 3K.
They're piling them up early.
Yeah, padding their stats.
Which is exactly what you want. Again, momentum is key. Getting these ults online early on is key as well. We'll see how much more of this they can balloon. Bizarra 3 points away from having her ult online. Issa's halfway to having the lockdown. And those are, I mean, that's exactly how you want rounds like this to go, right? Keep it clean, get as many orbs as you can, and set eyes on what's next.
Exactly, and now we're gonna head into that bonus round for Team Liquid. Full buys, half armor for the G2 side. Just a standard default coming in, setting up that Killjoy into B main, getting that info and just poking and prodding as much as they can.
Petra went up pretty far here. Also spotting Bizarra over in tiles. Petra's here by herself. There's no like flash setup or paranoia setup or anything like that for her.
Yeah, after figuring out that the Killjoy is playing A, we see this TL team split onto Cat. They know it's weak, pushing into heaven, but Mimi picks off a Stusha.
A massive kill for her, but responded by Bizarra. Petra is doing her best to keep them back as well. Playing on the other side of the smoke, Gina just absolutely obliterated her. Fortunately for G2, Sarah's still playing backside. Still playing down in hell, and you've got numbers up plenty. Not that they were required. Sarah gets 3 and G2 are on the board.
3 seems to be the lucky number for both of these teams today. 3K after 3K. And now we are going to see the first gun round of this game. 1 orb off of that kill for TL. They're probably going to do some sort of default to get it and end in some sort of split. But again, this hold was so beautiful from Sarah on that A side. I mean, TL did such a great job at finding the weakness right away. They knew that KJ was playing on that B side, and they were like, yeah, let's just split. So that kind of speedy reactions is kind of what we see when they're coming in from already being warmed up. And again, like I said, they're going to be taking this A main control, trying to get this orb on KO, and who knows where they're ending. But this trap is going to make it a little bit harder for them to do so.
I'll tell you real quick who doesn't look cold. Sarah. Sarah's started off, I mean, with a great beginning to this map. Currently sitting at 7-1, 7-2, something like that. But you can tell for G2, we just saw 2 different instances. One off of Sarah, and then the other one we just saw off of Mimi. They're trying to do a really good job of setting Petra up to get her rolling and to find some success. That one was ultimately just her and Bastardo on the swing.
You were saying?
Yeah. But success for Petra nonetheless.
Yep, the standard regroup after losing numbers. We've seen TL do this a bunch, and it is a good call because they are playing off that B side. They have this KO ult. It's not going to tag anyone. I mean, that KJ mid, but it's not enough because they are playing retake, and this is perfect from G2. Retaking that mid space, and they're going to set up the double or even the triple flank on that B main for this retake.
Issa's going to have a lot to deal with. Back towards the presence, knife out. Not able to find any sort of value there. So you start to see some of this pressure and some of this control that Team Liquid have begin to alleviate. Only 3 members left on the site. While they continue to get swarmed, G2 getting ever so close. to taking the site back, given the numbers advantage that they have. You see him start to swing out. Petra with 3 on the round already. Sarah and Roxy clean things up. We're tied at 2 apiece.
I mean, that was such a hard round for TL to hold on the site because they had players coming in from spawn, from market, and from B main. They needed desperately to get some sort of space or to have some sort of setup towards one side of that map, but unfortunately, G2 just way too quick with it. Beautiful reactions down mid. This pick was really, really great. As soon as they knew that they had that aiming control and no one else was coming, the quick reactions to push down mid, perfectly well played by G2. And again, just scaling together, the timing as a team. We were talking about TL being warm, but G2 looks like their teamwork is really warm coming into this.
Sarah has her ult online. Petra's 1 away from Blades. Issa, we mentioned a couple of rounds ago, close to having the lockdown still. A lot of investment mid. Yo, those are the best. Those are the best kills where you just like spam into a smoke and you're gifted 2 free kills.
What do you mean? You don't see the outline?
I mean, if she saw it, it worked. Daiki with the Sheriff. You have 2 rifles left on the side of Liquid, but I mean, the round has already gone so sideways.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to come back from this amount of bodies dropping so quick in the round. You didn't even have a chance to default and get space. But again, the only kind of option that they have is either grouping up or playing for these picks. And we see them going towards that cat, which so far from G2 has been pretty weak almost all of these rounds. So TL kind of abusing that sort of information, hopefully abusing rotations, just walking up together, contacting, trying to find a pick of their own. But Petra, she's so aware. She knew that that was something that they were trying to do. Did not let that happen, and now the split has to go a lot faster because they all know that they're there.
Well, and even with that, look at how like patiently G2 are playing this.
Yeah.
They know that they've lost A, but they know they have numbers advantage. They know they can lean into those strengths. This is masterful calling from G2 right now.
Yep, keeping that cat control from Jujina might be a little bit of a saver for them. But again, A-main is fully gone. Daiki going for the push, but Roxy with the instant trade.
Smoke out. Petra dropped. 3v2. Issa has ult. Do you invest it in a situation like this? Hello? Oh, that could have been really bad. But ultimately, it works out. G2's going to get the defuse. I'm surprised that they played that the way that they did. And, I mean, there was a free kill teed up, unfortunately not coming through. But the defense will take the lead.
It's okay, Jujina. We've all been there.
We saw it.
Don't worry about it. It was okay. It was just a Guardian, you know. But yeah, again, this first spray down was brutal from Petra. This is so unfortunate because TL didn't make a mistake.
Let's go.
They just walked.
G2 just got kind of lucky.
Yeah.
They just walked up. They're trying to default. Now I hope they learn their lesson. They're going to be using a lot more util on that take, but not much else you can do. And now we're looking like a standard default. Again, we do have this KJ lockdown. They're looking to get into that B main, but they don't know that Petra's here waiting for them with this operator.
First time we've seen it this map. That flash to give the aggressive angle, and it's perfect. But Petra's in trouble. She can't see a thing. She's trying to dash out, trying to find safety, and is unable to find it. That was a really good counterpunch out from Liquid.
Both teams going so quick that the util was just absolutely perfect. I mean, from TL, that was a wonderful masterclass of a round. And now, with this reaction, we're going to see them trying to get some sort of info, just holding, trying to see if G2 tries to walk up and make a mistake so they can get more numbers and just solidify the round. But, I mean, clock is ticking, 1 minute left, and they're going to be regrouping towards that mid.
They have so many tools that they can work with. It's almost like having it, it's a good problem to have, but having this abundance of options on how you want to play the round out can prove to be paralyzing at times.
Yeah, G2 taking this A main space because they know they need to do something, get some sort of number, hope they catch someone off guard, but look at this.
Oh, I thought she was going to be patient. Drop down, Jujina somehow still gets a second. That'll crack things wide open.
30 seconds left.
I mean, G2, they have plenty of money, so really no reason not to go for it. But we'll see what they choose to do. A beautiful round from Liquid to go all the way back to understanding that there would likely be pressure from Petra. That's 1 down. But yeah, understanding that there would likely be pressure from Petra, understanding how you want to dissuade that and kind of break some of that timing and put Petra in a bad spot to the execution there. It's just been a beautiful round from Liquid.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to feel kind of grim because as Petra tried to push and try to get that B main space, it got instantly denied. I mean, mid has worked for her really well. A has worked for her really well. So I wonder if G2 is going to switch it up a little bit towards that B main side, see if they can try to do something different to punish that. I mean, I don't think that TL is going to be doing the same thing again where they just like hard punish B main right off the bat again. But we'll see. We'll have to see, because that operator, Roxy saving, is actually pretty big. They can still get picks off of that. They can still work the map off of that. And especially with these knives, like, it's almost perfect for Petra to take that off.
Take a look at that opening moment one more time. There was a barrage of utility flashes, shock darts from both sides, and the aforementioned failed dash into the wall that made it to where there was no easy escape and nowhere to go. For Liquid, I think, again, we've got to point out the fact that they are coming out from another series. They still look warm. They still look comfortable. They are not showing any signs of fatigue or anything like that.
For sure, and looking like a straight up A-main hit. Petra with that op, we were just talking about it, instantly gets the first pick, and now TL just put a brakes on what they were trying to do, possibly farming their orb once again, but again, they're down numbers. It feels like both these teams are so good at getting these first bloods so early on in the game that it's making it hard for either team to adapt.
Yeah, it looked like, I would love to see that again, because it looked like Liquid tried playing out onto A pretty dry, but it wasn't contacting. They weren't slow about it. Yeah, there was, I would love to take a look at that again.
They used util, but it was weird because just kind of like peeked out as well.
Yeah, I had a things for sure.
But G2 just cleaning up this round. Mid. Roxy and Sarah getting those picks. Jujuna getting caught off in that A main by the Petra just holding with that operator. And now it's all down to Issa.
I ever tell you about the time Issa won that 1v5?
It wasn't this time.
It wasn't this time. No, it wasn't. It was not this time.
Oh yeah, I remember.
G2 take the lead right back. Again, we continue to see this back and forth affair between these two squads. G2 looking comfortable. They're really having their way now as they continue to unlock Petra to put her in positions of success.
Yep, and now we still have the KJ lockdown. I mean, this B main worked wonderfully for them. Defaulting has been okay for TL. I mean, it's been pretty back and forth with the first bloods, like we've said, depending on where Petra wants to set up her op. And I think at this point in time, we want to see TL kind of figure out where she's setting up her op, playing it slow, just getting that information with the Sova drone, because at this point, that op is showing to be a threat.
They have 4 members of the defense on B here. The drone to pave the way. She's tagged.
Yo.
That damage gets old. Anybody? Any turret clearers? Help me out here.
Yeah, that turret was wall hacking.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So where do they go from here? They use the drone to get her into an aggressive angle. They do still have a really nice trap set. Mimi's playing in Cubby right now. They just knife to confirm that there is still presence here. And it's not like Liquid have gotten enough space to where they could pop off of this. There's still so much room they have to grab. She hit it.
Should run.
And again, they don't know that Mimi's here. This is perfect. Mimi gets 2. The nade should destroy the lockdown. Petra trying to get high ground and help with the blades over the top. 3 on the round for Mimi. What a gorgeous set by G2.
That was a really nice setup. The bait by the op, getting the first kill, dashing off. The rest of the team pushing up into that B main. I mean, you come to think that maybe G2 read that KJ lockdown was meaning that TL was going to end towards B. And I think that's a pretty good assumption to make, and it obviously played out well for them. They gambled towards that site, like you said, 4 stacked towards B. And that was just so wonderfully played, so patient from Mimi. And she tweeted earlier about how she was disappointed in her performance.
Right, yeah.
Well, her patience and the way that she's playing right now and the way that she's calling is obviously playing out. She definitely took some time to reflect, and it's really, really obvious. And then G2 with the timeout coming in.
Yeah, just a couple of brief moments for teams to talk things over. As again, it's been a pretty close back and forth. But honestly, as I say that, and as I think through what we've seen in this first half, if it wasn't for the pistol going in favor of Liquid, I think we could be having a very different conversation here, right?
Oh, yeah.
G2 have won, what, 5 of the last 6? And even situations like that round we just saw felt very readable, obviously, if G2 were willing to stack 4, leave mid entirely open, and have Roxy playing soft on A by herself. they clearly have a beat on what's going on here.
For sure, and they have just been warming up, watching as TL plays this map, literally just a BO3 ago. So it might be playing a factor in this, where they're understanding the tendencies and the habits of how they're playing. But, I mean, G2 getting that operator online so early on their defense side, I think has definitely been the game changer, because you're right, it has been 5 rounds almost in a row. It's hard to get that momentum back for TL.
Gonna try to go faster instead of using the blades. They've invested into this here too. They're bringing 4 rifles into the round. Light armor on all. They've lost mid. They have no idea of what's happening mid. And I think because of that, Liquid have to take the longer route.
Bullshit. Yep, full space taken in mid. This is so dangerous. I mean, everyone is playing retake towards that B, which is fine because they have that KO ult. They have the op to kind of hold that aggressive line. And now mid is just so open. And taken advantage of, but Bastarda gets the kill onto Glance.
That was ridiculous. I don't know how I mean, they were set up for it. Glance was in such a good spot. But they continue to push forward. The problem is Petra and Roxy are ahead of this. They're already here. Georgina has a chance to make something ridiculous happen. Roxy had no idea where she was. Petra was there on the trade, but Bazera's trade proved to be the final one. G2, again, did an awesome job, excellent job of denying that mid space. It just wasn't executed well.
Yeah, I mean, TL, they didn't even need to use that much util. Just the jump spot, and then the wide swing with the jet knives was enough to catch a G2 player off guard. I mean, here, just catching the player in fridge. Super unfortunate for Glance, but at the same time, this play, this trap off Cat, the flash perhaps missing. It looked like G2 had a solid plan, but the fact that TL just walked out and got that first kill, that was not planned. That was not part of it. And so just shutting that down is really good. And then this default, I mean, this is what they need now, knowing that this mid space has been taken a lot of rounds in a row. This drone is going to get them all that information needed. I mean, they know that Soba is stuck in pizza.
Lance is feeling a lot of pressure here. Daiki has a Hunter's Fury, but they didn't have to use it. Lance had nowhere to go. And it seems like they're going to continue to push forward. Trampling up mid. The thing is, there are a couple of members of G2 behind them. Daiki's alone. That's huge. That's a spike. There's no one to help her. They're going to have to rally back, deal with the space that's been lost, and try to recover the spike. But what a mess up around Eugenia's in their spawn. G2's in liquids. Everything has gone backwards. Mimi's left alone. A 1v2 now. A difficult one at that, and it will not come through to fruition. We're tied at 5.
I mean, this is crazy because TL just won the last 2 rounds coming off of the G2 timeout. Yeah. That's not what you want. I mean, it was an interesting timeout. After winning so many rounds, you'd think you want to keep that momentum up. But I guess they had something they really wanted to talk about. But again, another timeout coming in from G2. Oh wait, the first timeout was TL actually.
We got trolled.
Yeah, we did get trolled.
We got trolled. We got hard trolled. But you know what? All good?
All good.
All good. It was Liquid who called a timeout previously, and now the story makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that makes more sense. TL's timeout doing really good work for them because they're instantly fixing a lot of those mistakes, a lot of those gaps. I mean, Jujina doing a great job at lurking, and even though they do lose numbers towards that mid, they're well aware that G2 has been in love with fighting mid. Yeah. They're aware that there's some sort of trap setups. As soon as the drone caught wind of someone playing in that pizza, there was a dart, there was a molly, there was a flash, there was someone wide swinging. TL kind of breaking down that defense that G2 is trying to set up towards that mid, and maybe G2 sees that they're understanding what's going on, but Petra has that off. I mean, you don't have to do a full mid trap in order to fight for this. I mean, you have an operator.
Yep. And that very well might be what the team is discussing right now on the timeout. You see the head coach of G2 Gozen trying to settle things. It seemed like G2 had some momentum and was going to start to run away with this thing, but it's been a great response in front of the hometown crowd to keep things competitive. The last 2 rounds going in favor of Liquid. They do have a decent amount of money, all things considered, and the Hunter's Fury out for Daiki too. But it looks like they're going to be pushing into this op line again. You know, we talked about this a couple of rounds ago, the setup that Petra had with Mimi. A little bit of a different flavor, a little variation, if you will. But they're going to be pushing right into the teeth of this. It all depends on how pacey they're going to be with it.
Both teams fighting for this B main. This operator is online, but the flash is not going to hit Petra with the first blood. And now this is how G2 has capitalized every single round. Whichever team has gotten these first bloods, it's felt like it's gone that way towards that team. So TL, they really need to come up with a plan to refight, but the extremity on A has been pushed as well. The Omen is in wine and KO just spotting.
Mimi and Sarah waiting close by. And you can see the setup. There's I guess a one-way and then maybe a paranoia. For Sarah, if she's patient with it. There's not going to be anything to clear that nano. So the paranoia provides safe passage for her to get out. Liquid have frozen on this, and I'm really surprised that G2 haven't taken some more space, given some of what they've just seen A.
Yeah, KJ's still on that B. I mean, rotating the Sova here is a really good call because they know that there's so much pressure here, and the Hunter's Fury actually coming out.
Petra missed the first shot. She missed the second as well. Bastarda was there to punish, but Sarah still causing problems backside. A 2v2, and they're surrounded once more. Liquid are going to have to deal with everything coming from either side. The Hunter's Fury out from Glance will deny the plan, at least for the time being. With 17 seconds left, nothing else really to keep that back for now. Bastarda, I don't know that she knows, but she procs the dash and should be able to get to safety. Roxy with some utility in nano. The lockdown too, do you invest it here? Knowing that you don't have the Hunter's Fury on the other side? No, instead she's playing for distraction. Drops the turret, tries to draw eyes, tries to draw attention and focus. And let Glance get to a better position. Roxy winning the first, it's gonna have to be Glance. Glance is healthy, Daiki is not by any means, but it does not matter. What a 3K from Daiki.
The IGL of Team Liquid. She was on fire last BO3, and she's on fire in this first map as well. Because what a round. Again, I literally just said that whoever gets the first blood wins the round. I apologize, Team Liquid, because I was wrong. I mean, what a way to bring it back. G2 staying way too long in that setup towards A main. They baited so much of their util out. TL baited so much of G2's util out. They knew that they were in a weird setup. They have to fall back to site. They knew they didn't have that paranoia to delay. Like, it was such a weird round for G2. They had the opening kill. They had all the information, and they still stuck to a setup for way too long. But Petra, understanding that she could be pushed up towards B main here, but this turret has been a threat, man. Someone just break it for Petra.
Well, it's crazy, too, is they just tried. Right, Roxy threw the nano over the top to try to clear out the turret, but it was shot out by Issa, so that will continue to be a problem. Now Roxy's no longer around. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, she had a lockdown. Last round of the half, massive tool, not around, but Mimi and Sarah certainly still are. Bastarda and Issa left to figure out what went so wrong as Mimi's not able to convert, and once again, it feels like G2 has a numbers advantage. They have some control of the situation, and it's just one little thing goes sideways, and all of a sudden, Liquid are back in it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, walking up, taking that A main space, so smart when they've lost the space towards B main. They've known that it was contested, but they just retook space A main. So played well again by G2. They got the kills, but then overstaying their welcome and allowing that team to get the trade towards them. That is so rough, but they know that they're on the flank.
Glance has a lot of util. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Glance swings out and gets both. No way.
Glance, what a crazy shot. Crazy amount of shots there. Wow. This is so close. I mean, 6-6. This is literally as close as it could be. Both these teams playing amazingly. It seems like G2 understands and is trying to play the map in the way that they play. They get these beautiful, beautiful frags, these kills, these trades. But again, over the one enemy remaining. Yes, it delayed for a while, but Glance, technically that should not have been around for G2. No. But again, Glance just clutching it out. That was so great.
Unreal fight. We're going to throw it down to the crowd, actually, as we have an interview standing by.
Fala, gente bonita! Eu tô aqui junto com o Crane, que é um jogador assim incrível do Challengers BR, que a gente gosta, né? E agora a gente vai bater um papinho aqui, tanto em português quanto em inglês, fechado? Hello everyone, I'm here with Crane. He's a really well-known player from our Challengers our Brazilian Challengers, and I'm going to ask him about Team Liquid because I heard that his team was, well, you were nailed by Team Liquid while you were screaming. So, let's talk a little bit. Crane, eu fiquei sabendo que vocês levaram assim o sufoco da Team Liquid quando vocês jogaram contra elas, quando vocês treinaram. É verdade isso?
É verdade, sim. A gente foi amassado por elas e a gente ficou surpreso também como elas baniram contra a SMG e a Lotus, né? Que foi o treino que a gente teve. E com isso a gente tem uma grande esperança para elas ganharem esse campeonato, né? Levar o troféu para casa.
Okay. So he basically said that, yeah, basically Team Liquid nailed them. They were playing Lotus and he was kind of surprised because they banned Lotus. I mean, why? So he said that he's basically really hopeful that Team Liquid can take this with basically our trophy home. E deixa eu te perguntar uma coisa. Team Liquid G2, você acha que essa rematch aí vai dar bom pra Team Liquid?
Eu acredito que agora elas estão mais preparadas, né, para essa revanche, então acho que elas vêm muito mais confiantes, já sabem como o oponente joga, então acho que dá pra gente ganhar sim.
Vamos ver então. So I asked him about G2 and Team Liquid, what does he expect? And he said that probably Team Liquid can take this for sure. So thank you very much. E é com vocês, gente.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's been an excellent series so far. Again, no signs of fatigue, no signs of slowing down from Liquid, and it's just been so much fun, at least so far in this first half, to watch these two teams clash, knowing that Shopify is lying in wait, waiting for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, playing for that final spot, there's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of maybe scared, maybe not fully confident, you know what I mean? But both these teams showing that doesn't matter. They know that they're playing for the grand final spot, and they're hungry for it. And that's why these rounds are so close. I mean, 6-6, that is literally the closest it can be. But this attack side looking like it's gonna be a poke and prod towards A as they're contacting up towards the side. They know the Killjoy's turret over there.
The crazy thing is, too, this turret, I mean, is so far up, you really have to commit if you want to clear that thing, and that is exactly what Liquid wants. They're going to want to take these fights. Issa, with a classic from hell, by the way, is able to clean up Petra, and this defense seems to be holding up just fine. I wonder if they're going to try to flip. Roxy was still playing mid, but you've got to be careful because Bastarda's on the flank, and I don't know if she's been hurt. Oh, it's not going to matter. It's only one. And now we find ourselves in a really awkward situation. You still have a little under a minute, a little bit under a minute left in the round, with plenty of options. Liquid, unsure of that, have to divide their resources and leave a couple B and a couple A.
Yeah, 4v2 though for Liquid. Surely they just wait for each other, play it smart. This retake should be in the bag because G2 have to do something crazy here. And crazy,
30 seconds left.
Crazy, I was crazy once because I pushed into the CT smoke to get this kill. And Roxy playing so close, oh my goodness, no push, nothing. They're just gonna group up and go out together on the TL side.
Will they be disciplined enough to check? Note, it's just a classic. It was just a Sheriff and Roxy with two. Tries to land the third and she cannot, but so much help, so much work has been done. It does not matter though. Jujina saves the day. Oh, that was insane.
That was such a crazy round. But TL originally playing us so beautifully. This crossfire on B. I mean, we had Issa so ready to hold the left side of site because she knew that her right side of site was held by Jujina. Such beautiful team play on that side. They knew that they had it on lock. And then this reaction to come out 4 out of spot. Yes, it was a bit weird. Yes, they got two bodies down, but they still stuck together. They knew it was a 4v2 and they had numbers and they had bodies, and the coaches and the girls just showing how much excitement there is. And we were talking about them not slowing down. I mean, I think those cams literally speak for themselves.
I would love to know what the coaches were saying to each other just then. We can do this.
Yeah.
We can do this? Yeah, we can do this. A huge start. Daiki has an Ares. They're invested into this a little bit. Roxy with the Sheriff. Petra's going to be the first to fall. It's really, I mean, it's armor on Roxy too.
One enemy remains.
The armor melts just as quickly as G2 does. A 4K for Bizarre. We talked about padding stats early on in these eco rounds. Now 2 away from having the lockdown early in the second half.
Yeah, a beautiful hold from coming in from TL. I mean, the KO molly to delay, everything was just so quick, so ready to come support the team. I mean, G2 tried to push towards that cat. They used the paranoia. They ran up together, but there's nothing they can do. And there's a KO molly just sitting there, ready to take down your health, chunk down that health, and delay for so long that the rest of TL is back. And if anyone can translate that, let me know, because we're going to start screaming that soon if TL win another round here on this bonus.
I mean, listen to this crowd. My Portuguese is not perfect, but it sounded like the coaches were like asking for Brazil to support them, to have their back. And that's exactly what the crowd does.
Just a standard default here from both teams. We actually have 2 players on the defense side playing in spawn, ready to quick rotate. They're playing back towards mid, expecting some sort of rush. But the drone towards B main is going to put so much pressure when there's just Sova here holding the site on their own.
Yeah, she's alone. Why are they playing so far off? They're convinced that it's going to be a split through market, but now they're starting to rotate over. The thing is, they've lost the site. Petra's so far up, but Bazera hits an insane timing window. He falls. So goes the rest of the site, but Bastarda continues to be a problem. Roxy now jumping down with spike in hand, trying to clear out back site. Oh my goodness, Roxy gets one with the turret too. She's gonna have to do it on her own though. That's second kill. Nice, Issa saved the day there. How does she play this out? Spike has been ticking for a little bit. I'd love to see her POV here. Thank you. Both there, and none of them connect. 3 for Bazera. Roxy had an outrageous round, but this is huge for Liquid.
Yeah, it is huge. That bonus round was actually wild. It didn't look so promising. They had just Sova on site, but like I said, the 2 players playing towards that spawn, they were ready to quick rotate. They were ready to fast flood. And actually, Bastarda ended up dashing into site in order to support her team, and I think that is something that shows how fast that TL plays. We've seen their fast floods, we've seen their fast retakes, and that's exactly what puts them above other teams when it comes to specifically retaking, even when they don't have numbers. And for this next round, it's going to be kind of hard for G2. They still can buy because they've been doing that half armor, full buy kind of hard, but it's still looking rough because Bastarda, she's going to have an op now. She's going to be set up in this aggressive line that maybe or maybe not G2 will have an answer for. It's looking a little bit grim. I mean, losing that round, you still have the momentum towards TL. The pause coming in from G2 makes sense because they're putting a pause to that momentum. But everything that they're talking about now, they need to fix this defense side right now. Attack side, sorry.
Reminder, this is Liquid's map pick. They're up 3 rounds on the heels of winning a best of 3 that went the distance, that was, we imagine, emotionally draining and exhausting. But the nature of the tournament is there is no time to slow down. You don't really have the opportunity or the benefit, if you will, to think things through. You just have to continue to plow forward, and that's exactly what they've done. On the other side of the timeout, we've got Bazera, who's got the ult online. And it's a very, very split standard setup from the defense.
Yeah, and Daiki with this Odin, we've seen her put in so much work, but it's looking like they're setting up for Odin spam towards that tiles. And little does G2 know is that there are 2 players heading over there.
Standing ahead.
That was a really early paranoia off of the dart to find the target. Petra took some damage, but that's all it was. That could have been disaster.
Yep, well read by TL, but unlucky for the timing because it was a little bit too early. They gave them a couple more seconds to walk up. Would have been great to catch them off guard. All this information for G2. They break that alarm bot, and now TL is going to have some sort of answer. An answer they do have because their jet is pushed up all the way up in A main. They have all that space and all that info.
Holy free info. You're absolutely right. It does seem like G2's aware of that, though. Sarah's crouched and waiting for the aggression. Carrying precious cargo, though. The spike in hand. There's no way they know. There's no way they know anymore. There's no way they know. Bastarda strikes at just the right time, and once again, G2 left in disarray. Roxy's trying to creep B to try to find some space there. And it does look like where they're going to end, but as soon as she shows any pixel, she's dropped. And you see it now, having to pivot once more. We're on plan C or plan D at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that setup was absolutely beautiful because off of the mid pressure, Bastarda taking her A main presence, and now she's ready to fight this cat split.
Daiki here with the Odin. Bastarda's there with it as well. A prime gaming flawless for Team Liquid as they're up 4.
I love this Odin on Daiki. I think Daiki's Odin is something that is really fun to watch, especially on this Ascent. She's done so good with it so far. And this flank, oh my goodness, Bastarda taking all the space. I mean, G2, they have holes in their attack, and TL is not struggling to find them at all. They're putting pressure in the early round and then rotating based on that. And G2 into their traps. They know that the alarm bot was towards mid. They're trying to default towards it, but they're fast enough.
Just unreal timing. Bastarda having to use the dash to stay away and concealed for now. Does she dare re-peek here? You see the buy for G2, it's not great. Glance has a Bulldog, Sheriff's the rest of the way. The alarm bot keeping things back for now. Mimi the first to fall. Petra shortly thereafter joining. They're gonna try. So that's 3 on the round already. The one real gun that they had to fight back with sits harmlessly on the ground. 6 bullets left, and technically, there is an ace on the cards. If she can pull it off, that's 4 on the round. Eugenia takes it, but it's back-to-back Prime Gaming flawlesses for Team Liquid.
Eugenia has been the ace stealer today on multiple accounts, but again, G2 looking so disconnected in that mid. They have so much util to use, but they're not using it. I mean, the dart was broken. We hear the dash away. We know there's an alarm bot close, and yet we're still running up dry. We're not using flashes. We're not using drones up close. The peaks are so disconnected one by one. They're just feeding these kills to Bastarda. And of course, Bastarda, she is warm because those shots were crispy.
18 and 12 for the duelist, with we imagine more to come. Blades online this time too. And G2 have lost, what's that, 5 rounds in a row now? 6 rounds in a row now. It's been rough. They haven't been able to find any success, and it's not getting any better. Tip of the spear blunted, attack neutered, and now what?
Yep, that first blood going towards TL, and they're not afraid to keep hold of that space. But instead of full fighting for a main, they move 2 players towards back because they know that they've put way too much pressure there, enough to push away the other team. Now this shot going towards mid, they're trying to break this alarm bot, but they just missed it, unfortunately. And heading back towards Cat is not a good sign. And Sarah just getting caught off guard. She needs to be ready for that Bastarda push. She is feeling it.
I mean, that's the second time she just takes this free space and gets a kill for it. And both times it was on Sarah. This has fallen apart so quickly, and you know, honestly, this feels like the most dominant defensive side performance we've seen on Ascent this tournament, right? When a defense is locked in for whatever reason on this map in particular, it feels so suffocating. It feels so devastating. There's no success anywhere to be found. And honestly, Liquid right now are running circles around G2.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning rounds the same way that Daiki is suppressing fire with this Odin, because they are just winning round after round after round and looking so dominant. I mean, at this point, G2 needs to figure out how to put a stop to Bastarda. She is the support pillar of this team with those first bloods, with those setups, with the way that she's rotating or re-pushing or re-walking up into that A main. They need an answer for this A main as well. They have not been able to take it successfully yet.
This crowd is going absolutely nuts right now. Blades online, Hunter's Fury 2 looking to put the finishing touches on this map is Liquid, and it's aggression once more. They've given up A, but there's a massive flank coming around. Bastarda gets a first on the glance for the 3rd round in a row, killing somebody who doesn't get a chance to fight back. And the smoke, the only thing keeping them back. She's gone aggressive, she's going forward, and she finds another. Sarah on the counter, but where do you go from here? She's gone behind them! Sarah with 3! What a counter! But can they close out the round? They have numbers advantage, but it's just 1.
Spike planted. The lockdown on Roxy, she is going to be towards that B main, playing in a safe spot, able to put it down in whatever time that she needs, because they need to secure this round. They literally need this round. Daiki gonna start the retake. Noise with her Odin, but Georgina with a crazy one-shot to Sarah. Petra here ready to deny. And Roxy coming out and swinging with that crossfire, denying the plant. The KJ lockdown is gone, but they did secure the round.
Dude, Sarah's TP out of the smoke behind them is, I mean, that's insane. That's insane. That's actually insane. Like, TikTok-type Omen plays.
Literally a Giga Chad Omen move. Like, if there was a Giga Chad Omen move, that's the one. TPing behind your enemies, knowing that there's a very small chance they could be just staring at you. That was really great by Sarah. Really cool micro plays. And now we have Mimi with that KO ult. They're looking towards mid once again, trying to see if they can capitalize off of this. So much noise towards that mid, using their util, putting a smoke down, and Cat is already up for free.
Liquid are doing such a good job of playing this defensive half. Even little things like destroying the turret on B main, knowing how many times G2 have been flanked from the extremities, it's a threat. And that's all it is, and it's such a free threat. All it took was a dart. And that comes back. There's no investment on this.
Bizarra actually pushing up towards that main, but Bastarda has done it so many times, you'd think that they would expect it and punish it, but Sarah still not ready for it. But while that was happening, Roxy just getting 2 for free on B. They don't even know that the spike is still in spawn.
Using the element of surprise, I guess, because Glance is nowhere near the site. You're absolutely right. But Bizarra continues to push forward. Up Cat now. And it feels like we've had a couple of rounds like this. This is a really messy round. It's a little sideways. They don't really know where to go. This is far from conventional. Issa's left alone in a 1v3, and it seems like we're going to play another one. Barring heroics from the Killjoy. A 1v2, she has lockdown. Mimi not able to pop her ult beforehand to counter it. So Issa's going to have a lot of room and a lot of time, and
oh my god,
Mimi almost gets caught. Issa now pushing the pace. The flash is good. And it's playing it in a position where Issa's going to have to do so much. She's creeping forward. Athena, she's creeping forward. She's going to take these fights. And they don't go her way. Mimi's there to greet. G2 stay alive.
Wow, that was a wild round to watch. I mean, on the minimap, we see players in spawn, players in the other side of spawn, players in cap, players on site. These 2 kills from Roxy doing work for G2 because that was a round-winning play from Roxy. Those 3Ks were so important. Like, they had so many players towards A and so many players ready to fight that TL and deny. And it was just so well played. And now we're coming into this round. We're doing another default yet again from G2, sticking to their guns. They have that KO ult. They have knives. They know that they're going to be finding a lot of pressure. Now, setting up Mimi towards Cat has been their kind of beginning early round play, and it hasn't really done much yet, but I'm wondering if they're going to try to end towards A with this KO ult.
They've really struggled to alleviate some of this pressure, this Killjoy pressure mid. The alarm bot finally goes down, but the drone spots too. G2 with some options here though. Mimi has her ult, which could obviously pave the way if they can find out where this Sentinel setup is. Yeah, they know that the alarm bot was mid. That's often where it is. But they don't really have confirmation of anything else right now.
Yep, the knife trying to get some info. They know that Cat is clear. They know that this is some free space to be had. Mimi just peeking into A, putting enough pressure to have some players stay towards that A side, but they have all of A main. This is not pressure, not enough pressure from the G2 side in order to pull any of these rotates because KJ just sitting in spawn, chilling. I mean, she knows that there's something up. The turret is there. Petra breaks it, and the split starting.
Petra's pushing B, but they've popped the ult, and they're going to try to go A. The lurk has been dealt with, and now they just have to deal with what's in front of them. G2 a little bit battered here, but they find some space. Jujina falls. Daiki has ult, but just 5 HP.
This is going to be a hard one, and looking like TL's going to go. Yeah, they're going to go for a save. Like, that makes sense. 12-8, about to be 12-9. They only need one more round. Now, that round, Doug, G2 played it really wonderfully. Right, they knew they had all this mid space, and instead of just taking it and doing a regular split, they left Petra in that spot towards top mid. She broke the alarm bot. She broke the turret. She put so much pressure and smoked herself off, ran in, threw herself into the action. She didn't manage to get one, I believe, but it doesn't matter because the rest of her team was splitting up towards Cat. They pulled those rotates. They pulled all that attention away from the Cat split, and they were just so ready to fight for it that it looked like TL was just like not ready at all. They kind of like pulled a fast one on them, and I think that was a really great round from G2.
You see the hit out on site. You were just talking about what Petra was playing on the other side. Phoebe just had so much room, and obviously Roxy did too. I think the question that we had is, as Liquid calls a timeout, so close, yet seemingly so far, given some of the momentum that we've seen from the attacking side. I think the question was, okay, Liquid won 6 rounds in a row. G2 managed to stop the bleeding, but the question in my mind was, is the wound too big at this point? Like, is it too gaping? Can they not pull this off? And it seems like they've slowly stitched together an outrageous comeback, but it's not done yet.
Yeah, I mean, 12-9, they're just 1 round away, and 1 round means 1 little mistake away from winning. At the end of the day, G2 have to be almost perfect, almost flawless to be winning these next few rounds. And again, we've seen these TL pauses. We know that a lot of their momentum, a lot of the rounds that they win are because of the pauses, because of the regrouping that the coach has with the players. And maybe this might just be where they're going to find the holes, the gaps in their defense and understand. Because before, Bastardo were just taking space and pushing. But now that G2 has shut that down, they need to find a new way to go around this.
What's the call on the other side of the timeout? Again, Daiki has the Hunter's Fury. Georgina has her ult too. And it seems like they just want to play a little soft on B. Issa dropping some utility. G2 haven't really seemed concerned or interested in like a fast like 5-man hit or anything like that. They've been very content, honestly. Recent comeback and a little bit. They've managed to deal with the fact that there's constant in the extremities. That's really slowed Liquid down.
Yeah. Feels like they knew that TL doesn't know how to deal with this mid pressure unless they have that operator. Now that knife scanning 2 players towards mid. They were set up for that mid setup, but it doesn't matter because the mid trap is broken. They've stacked towards the A side. TL knows that this is where G2 is trying to end.
Oh, what a flash and what a swing. Goes unpunished. Petra tries to get another, but she swings into 4. It's all crumbling on the other side of the timeout. You're absolutely right. Liquid put G2 away, potentially in flawless fashion. The crowd comes back to life as things are closed out. A 1-0 series lead for Team Liquid.
A prime gaming flawless to end the game, and what a flawless round it was. They knew that G2 was reacting off of the pressure. They knew that G2 was reacting really well, I must say, off of the information. They wanted to play towards that mid, but again, not much that they could do.
You see it again, the setup was so good, you're absolutely right. And that was exactly what they needed on the other side of the timeout. That seems to be their buff, and it seems to be what they need. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
When you play an actual ranked game, it's 50 minutes, but how much are you actually shooting? With Aim Labs, you can compete in over 1,000 tasks that will prepare you for any scenario in any game. For the new ranked season, you play, you get points, you can compare yourself to your friends. With Aim Labs' new 1-to-1 Valorant maps, you get instant feedback on how to get better crosshair placement, better peak efficiency. You can also instantly modify existing tasks with Discovery. Get started today by downloading Aim Labs for free and join millions of other satisfied players.
Red Bull gives you wings.